No, I'm waiting.
Until when are you staying here with us?
What's that?
Until when are you staying with us? How long?
Wednesday. Yeah, and then I'll come back after in March.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Can I start? Okay. Ch.Ch Charitamrita Ki Jai, Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj, Swami Ki Jai, Shri
Ki Jai.
Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Gurudev Ki Jai. So we're in Adi Lila chapter 12, the expansions of Advaita Charya. This chapter in this book is called the expansions of just Advaita Charya, whereas in that one it said Amrita Bhakti. Okay. Advaita Charya's very confidential servant named Kamalakanta Vishvas knew all the dealings of Advaita Charya. Nila Jale Teno Eka Patrika Likiya Pata Parudrera Pasha Dila Pataiya. When Kamalakanta Vishvas was in Jagannath Puri, he sent a note through someone to Maharaj Prataparudra. Se Pratura Kata Acharya Nahi Jane Konampake Se Patri Aila Prabhushtane. No one knew of that note, but somehow or other it reached the hands of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Se Pratrite Lekayache E Taleki Lekana Ishvarape Acharyere Karyache Shtapana. That note established Advaita Charya as an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kintu Tamra Daiva Kichu Haiyache Rina Shodhi Bari Chahi Tanka Shatatina. But it also mentioned that Advaita Charya had recently incurred a debt of about 300 rupees that Kamalakanta Vishvash wanted to liquidate. Yeah, I'm just reading this couple verses just to review. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became unhappy upon reading the note. Although his face still shone as brightly as the moon, thus smiling, he spoke as follows. Acharya Shtapayache Kariya Ishvara Ite Dosha Nahi Acharya Daivata Ishvara. He has established Advaita Charya as an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is nothing wrong in this, for he is indeed the Lord himself. Ishvara Donyakare Kariyache Diksha Ataiva Dandakare Kariba Shiksha. But he has made the incarnation of Godhead a poverty-stricken beggar. Therefore I shall punish him for his correction. So Mahaprabhu got a note. The note was from Kamalakanta Vishwash. It was saying that Advaita Charya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But then he's saying, but he owes me 300 rupees. Or he owes, I guess he owed King Prataparudra. He sent a note through someone to Maharaj Prataparudra. So anyway, I don't know who, but so Mahaprabhu was angry. Govindera Ajnadila Inha Aji Hoite Bolia Vishvashe Eta Na Dibe Ashite. The Lord ordered Govinda, from today on, do not allow that Bolia Kamalakanta Vishvash to come here. Danda Shuni Vishvasha Haila Paramadukita Shunya Prabhura Danda Acharya Harshita. When Kamalakanta Vishwash heard about this punishment by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was very much unhappy. But when Advaita Prabhu heard about it, he was greatly pleased. Vishvashera kahe tumi bada bhagyavan tomara karila danda Prabhu Bhagavan. Seeing Kamalakanta Vishwash unhappy, Advaita Prabhu told him, you are greatly fortunate to have been punished by the Supreme Lord, the Personality of Godhead, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Purve Mahaprabhu more karena samana dukapai mane ame kailun anumana. Formerly, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always respected me as his senior, but I did not like such respect. Therefore, my mind being afflicted by unhappiness, I made a plan. Mukti Shreshta Kari Kainu Vashishta Vyakhyana Kudahana Prabhu More Koila Apamana. Thus I expounded the Yoga Vashishta, which considers liberation the ultimate goal of life. For this, the Lord became angry at me and treated me with apparent disrespect. Dandapana Hoila Mora Parama Ananda Ye Danda Paila Bhagyavan Sri Mukunda. When chastised by Lord Chaitanya, I was very happy to receive a punishment similar to that awarded Sri Mukunda. So this is, he's describing, Advaita's explaining to him what had happened before when, because Advaitacharya was, senior in age to Mahaprabhu, but he was always giving Mahaprabhu respect, Mahaprabhu was always giving him respect. So then he was feeling a little awkward and uncomfortable about this. So then he went and started preaching Mayavad philosophy. So then the Mahaprabhu got very angry to hear this, and then he ran there and he got very angry at Advaitacharya and started beating him. So then Advaitacharya was dancing, saying, "See, now you're now you're giving me chastisement." And he was very happy. A similar punishment was awarded to Mother Sachi Devi. Who could be more fortunate than she to receive such punishment? Eta kahiya charya tanra karya ashvasa anandita hoya oila Mahaprabhu pasha. After pacifying Kamalakanta Vishwash in this way, Sri Advaitacharya Prabhu went to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhu ke kahena tomara na buje elila ama hoite prashada patra karila kamala. Sri Advaitacharya told Lord Chaitanya, I cannot understand your transcendental pastimes. You have shown more favor to Kamalakanta than you generally show to me. Amareha kabuye nakaha prashada tomara charane ami kikainu aparada. The favor you have shown Kamalakanta is so great that even to me you have not shown such favor. What offense have I committed at your lotus feet so as not to be shown such favor? This is a reference to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's former punishment of Advaitacharya. When Advaitacharya Prabhu was reading Yoga Vashishta, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu beat him, but he never told him not to come in his presence. But Kamalakanta was punished with the order never to come in the Lord's presence. Therefore, Sri Advaitacharya Prabhu wanted to impress upon Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he had shown more favor to Kamalakanta Vishwash because he had prohibited Kamalakanta from seeing him, whereas he had not done so to Advaitacharya. Therefore, the favor shown Kamalakanta Vishwash was greater than that shown Advaitacharya. Eta shuni Mahaprabhu hashite lagila, bolaiya Kamalakante prashana hoila. Hearing this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu laughed with satisfaction and immediately called Kamalakanta Vishwash. Achayar kahe ihake kena dile darashana dui prakarete kare more vidambana. Advaitacharya then said to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Why have you called back this man and allowed him to see you? He has cheated me in two ways. Shuniya Prabhuramana Prashana Hoila Dunhara Antara Kata Dune Se Janila. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, his mind was satisfied. Only they could understand each other's minds. Prabhu kahe boiliya aiche kahe kara acharyara laja dharma hani se acharya. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Kamalakanta, You are a bolia, one who does not know things as they are. Why do you act in this way? Why do you invade the privacy of Advaitacharya and damage his religious principles? Purport. Kamalakanta Vishwas, out of his ignorance, asked the king of Jagannath Puri, Maharaj Prataparudra, to liquidate the 300 rupee debt of Advaita Acharya, means to pay back. But at the same time, he established Advaita Acharya as an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is contradictory. An incarnation of the Supreme Godhead cannot be indebted to anyone in this material world. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is never satisfied by such a contradiction, which is technically called rasabhas, or overlapping of one humor or rasa with another. This is the same type of idea as the contradiction that Narayan is poverty-stricken, Daridra Narayan. Pratigraha kabuna karipe rajadana vishayira ana koila dushta hayamana. Advaita Acharya, my spiritual masters, should never accept charity from rich men or kings. Because if a spiritual master accepts money or grains from such materialists, his mind becomes polluted. Mana dushta hoila nahe Krishna rasmarana Krishna smriti vinu hoya nishpala jivana. When one's mind is polluted, it is very difficult to remember Krishna. And when remembrance of Lord Krishna is hampered, one's life is unproductive. Loka laja hoya dharma kirti hoya hani aiche karma nakariha kabu iha jani. Thus one becomes unpopular in the eyes of the people in general, for this damages his religiosity and fame. A Vaishnava, especially one who acts as a spiritual master, must not act in such a way. One should always be conscious of this fact. Okay, so he's telling them not to, my spiritual master, Advaita Acharya, my spiritual master. What? Advaita Acharya, my spiritual master, should never accept charity from rich men or kings, because if a spiritual master accepts money or grains from such materialists, his mind becomes polluted. Okay, so... When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this instruction to Kamalakanta, all present considered it to be meant for everyone. Thus Advaita Acharya was greatly pleased. Acharyara abhipraha prabhu matra bhuje prabhura gambira vakya acharya samuje. Only Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand the intentions of Advaita Acharya, and Advaita Acharya appreciated the grave instruction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Eta prashtabeyache bahuta vichara granta bahulya baya nari likibara. In this statement, there are many confidential considerations. I do not write of them all, fearing an unnecessary increase in the volume of the book. Sri Adunandanacharya Advaitara Shaka Tanra Shaka Upadeshakara Nahi Hoya Leka. The fifth branch of Advaita Acharya was Sri Yadunandanacharya, who had so many branches and sub-branches that it is impossible to write of them. Yadunandanacharya was the official initiator, spiritual master of Raghunath Das Goswami. In other words, when Raghunath Das Goswami was a householder, Yadunandanacharya initiated him at home. Later, Raghunath Das Goswami took shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri. What time are we reading until this morning?
What's the time?
Now it's 8.
It's okay, you can go a little bit. Is
Okay.
the chapter long?
And did you want me to read from this also?
Maybe we can read a little,
Uh-huh.
10 minutes. Of it.
Okay. So do you want me to go to 8:15 or 8:30 or?
It's Sunday, go to 8:30.
Okay. Okay. So one more. Vasudeva Datera Tenho Kripara Bhajana Sarva Bhave Ashriyache Chaitanya Charana. Sri Yadunandanacharya was a student of Vasudeva Dutt, and he received all his mercy. Therefore, he could accept Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet from all angles of vision as the supreme shelter. Bhagavatacharya Ara Vishnu Dasacharya Chakrapani Acharya Ara Ananta Acharya. Bhagavat Acharya, Vishnu Dasacharya, Chakrapani Acharya, and Ananta Acharya were the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th branches of Advaita Acharya. Nandini Ara Kamadeva Chaitanya Dasa Durlabha Vishvasha Ara Vanamali Dasa. Nandini, Kamadeva, Chaitanya Das, Durlabha Vishvas, and Vanamali Das were the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th branches of Sri Advaita Acharya. Jagannatha Kara Ara Kara Bhavanatha Hridayananda Shena Ara Dasa Bolanatha. Jagannath Kara, Bhavanath Kara, Hridayananda Sain, and Bolinath Das were the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th branches of Advaita Acharya. Yadava Dasa, Vijaya Dasa, Dasa Janardana, Ananta Dasa, Kanu Pandita, Dasa Narayana. Yadava Das, Vijay Das, Janardan Das, Ananta Das, Kanu Pandit, and Narayan Das were the 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th branches of Advaita Acharya. Srivatsa Pandita Brahmachari Haridasa Purushottama Brahmachari Ara Krishna Dasa. Srivatsa Pandit Haridasa Brahmachari, Purushottam Brahmachari, and Krishna Das were the 25th, 26th, 27th, and 28th branches of Advaita Acharya. Purushottama Pandita Ara Raghunatha Vanamali Kavichandra Ara Vaijanatha. Purushottam Pandit, Raghunath, Vanamali Kavichandra, and Vaidyanath were the 29th, 30th, 31st, and 32nd branches of Advaita Acharya. Lokanatha Pandita Ara Murari Pandita Sri Hari Charana Ara Madhava Pandita. Lokanath Pandit, Murari Pandit, Sri Hari Charan, and Madhava Pandit were the 33rd, 34th, 35th, and 36th branches of Advaita Acharya. Vijay Pandit, Ara Pandita, Sri Rama, Ashankya, Advaita Shaka, Kata Laiva Nama. So a big list here of all the names of all the branches of Advaita Acharya. Vijay Pandit and Sri Ram Pandit were 2 important branches of Advaita Acharya. There are innumerable branches, but I am unable to mention them all. Since Srivas Pandit was an incarnation of Narada Muni, his younger brother, Sri Ram Pandit, is accepted as an incarnation of Parvata Muni, Narada Muni's most intimate friend. The Advaita Acharya branch received the water supplied by the original gardener, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this way, the sub-branches were nourished and their fruits and flowers grew luxuriantly. Ihara Maje Mali Pache Kona Shakya Gana Na Mani Chaitanya Mali Durdaiva Karana. After the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, some of the branches, for unfortunate reasons, deviated from his path. Shinjaila Jiyaila Tanre Na Manila Kritanga Hoila Tanra Skanda Kruda Hoila. Some branches did not accept the original trunk that vitalized and maintained the entire tree. When they thus became ungrateful, the original trunk was angry at them. Krudha Hana Skanda Tare Jala Na Sanchare Jala Bhave Krishna Shaka Shukai Amare. Thus Lord Chaitanya did not sprinkle upon them the water of his mercy, and they gradually withered and died. Chaitanya Rahita Deha Shushka Kashta Sama Jivete Mrita Se Mailedande Yama. A person without Krishna consciousness is no better than dry wood or a dead body. He is understood to be dead while living, and after death he is punished by Yamaraj. Okay. Kevala e gana prati nahe e danda chaitanya vimukhaye se ta pashanda. Not only the misguided descendants of Advaitacharya, but anyone who is against the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should be considered an atheist, subject to be punished by Yamaraj. Ki pandita, ki tapasvi, ki bagrihi yati, Chaitanya vimukhaye tara e gati. Be one a learned scholar, a great ascetic, a successful householder, or a famous sannyasi. If one is against the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is destined to suffer the punishment meted out by Yamaraj. Ye laya Shri Achyutanandera Mata Se Acharagana Mahabhagavata. The descendants of Advaitacharya, who accepted the path of Sri Achyutananda, were all great devotees. Se acharyara kripara bhajana anayase poila se chaitanya charana. By the mercy of Advaitacharya, the devotees who strictly followed the path of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu attained the shelter of Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet without difficulty. Achutera ye mata se mata sara arayata mata saba hoila charakara. It should be concluded, therefore, that the path of Achyutananda is the essence of spiritual life. Those who did not follow this path simply scattered. Se acharya gane mora koti namaskara Achyutananda praya chaitanya jivana yanhara. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances millions of times to the actual followers of Achyutananda, whose life and soul were at Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Eta kahilan acharya goshai gana tina skanda shakara koila shangshepa ganana. Thus I have briefly described the three branches, Achyutananda, Krishna Mishra, and Gopal, of Sri Advaita Acharya's descendants. There are multifarious branches and sub-branches of Advaita Acharya. It is very difficult to enumerate them fully. I have simply given a glimpse of the work of the whole trunk and its branches and sub-branches. Sri Gadadhara Pandita Shakate Mahotama Tanra Upashaka Kichu Karye Ganana. After describing the branches and sub-branches of Advaita Acharya, I shall now attempt to describe some of the descendants of Sri Gadadhar Pandit, the most important among the branches. So I think I'll stop the reading and read tomorrow the chief branches of Sri Gadadhar Pandit. So I'll stop there for now. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. I can read a little bit from Revealed Truth. This doesn't have a thing.
We can do a little mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just read from this, where the marker is, right? From Revealed Truth. Am I starting from the beginning in Revealed Truth?
We were.
Did you start already?
Yeah, but.
Just one page.
Yeah, I only stopped there. Mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Shri Revealed Truth Ki Jai, by His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Very amazing book. And this book is organized around the, from talks of Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, organized around the Dasamula Tattva, the 10 fundamental principles, as outlined by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So I'll read this, the Dasamula Tattva, the 10 fundamental principles. Sri Gaurachandra personally teaches the souls that 1. Revealed knowledge establishes the truth. 2. Hari is supreme. 3. He is omnipotent. 4. He is an ocean of rasa. 5. The souls are as separated parts. 6. They are either covered by material energy. 7. Or liberated from material energy by devotion. 8. Everything is a manifestation distinct and non-distinct from Hari. 9. Pure devotion is the way. And 10. Love for Hari is the goal. So this book is categorized in these 10 fundamental principles. So this first section 1, is called Revelation, Dasamula Tattva, Truth 1. Amnaya Prahatattvam, revealed knowledge establishes the truth. So again, these are talks of Srila Gurudev discussing this point about how revealed knowledge establishes the truth. Okay, so the first section, Amnaya. Okay, subtle transmission. Okay, so we read about the example of the Ganges. The Ganga is coming down into this world. Amnaya, revealed knowledge, exists in this world. How Amnaya, revealed knowledge, exists in this world can be understood through the example of the Ganges River. Previously, the civilization of India was called the Ganga Sabhyata, the civilization of the Ganges. Everyone throughout India has respect for the Ganges and has faith that Mother Ganges comes down to this world from the lotus feet of the Lord in the transcendental world. As the Ganges comes down through the heavens, Lord Shiva takes her on his head, breaks her force, and then allows her to flow gently over the surface of the earth. Everyone understands that the Ganges descends from the Lord's abode in this way and then flows down from the Himalayas across India to the ocean in the Bay of Bengal, or the Ganga Sagar, as it is known in India. As the Ganges flows across India, many dirty things can be found within her waters, but everyone understands that the Ganges never loses her transcendental nature, even when she appears dirty materially. Ganges water is understood to come down from the Lord's lotus feet and to always be fully transcendental. People understand that no matter how dirty her water may appear, the Ganges water's spiritual nature is never polluted or removed by anything material. So even though the Ganges appears to be polluted, everyone understands that Ganges water is always spiritually purifying, and that even the auspicious breeze flowing off the Ganges brings a spiritual mood of devotion to the conditioned souls of this world. Subtle transmission. Through this example of the Ganges, we can understand that when Amnaya descends into this realm, it will never lose its transcendental nature, even though it may mix with our material minds, language, and experience. So Amnaya means knowledge that has descended from the transcendental world into this material world for the benefit of all souls. You can call that knowledge spiritual or transcendental or divine. The main reason is that it has descended from above. It has not been formed by anything of this world. We can understand everything about who we are, sambandha, what the goal of our life should be, prayojan, and how we can attain that, abhideya, through Amnaya. So now he's giving the example of the Ganges. So let's see. It will never lose its transcendental nature, even though it may mix with our material minds, language, and experience. Still, our intelligence cannot conceive of how the Ganges descends from the transcendental realm, or how revealed truth appears in this world. To adjust this, we can consider that now, in the scientific age, so many things exist around us that no one could have conceived of in the past. Only now can we conceive that a signal can be broadcast through the ether, picked up by a receiver, and then played on a television or radio in a distant place, or like a cell phone. We have a cell phone. Does anybody know how a cell phone actually works? It's like, how does the internet actually work? It's a kind of receiver. It's receiving a signal. Now in the scientific age, we understand that transmission can happen through subtle means. We can learn from the work of the scientists that it is not unreasonable to try to connect with the higher transcendental world just because the medium for our connection with the transcendental plane is not physical. The scientists have shown everyone that clear communication is possible through subtle means. So this is a very good example, like if we're talking to someone, who we're trying to explain this point, because everybody has a cell phone and everybody is getting this, you're getting your picture, you can speak with someone face to face, with a picture from someone that's on the other side of the world, So that's a subtle kind of transmission. It's a subtle kind of energy, like where is that coming from, So then if that's possible, if it's possible that way, then why is it also not possible to receive knowledge in a subtle kind of way also? So we only need to discover the proper channel of revelation and how we can make ourselves a proper receiver, capable of receiving transmission from the transcendental realm. Then everything will be revealed to us. Making ourselves proper receivers begins with faith and prayer. When a house is built, it is wired so that electricity is available throughout the house. Without electricity, a house is dark at night. But when electricity powers the lights within a house, everything can be seen. What is inside the house and what is outside the house. By ourselves, with only our mundane faculties, we are in darkness and cannot imagine the light of divine life. But if we open our hearts and desire that new light appear there, if we pray that our hearts may be clean enough to receive transcendental knowledge, then happily that knowledge will appear within us. As wires carry electricity, so our hearts have the capacity to receive transmissions from the transcendental realm. Faith and prayer from our heart can bring us new life and light from that transcendental world. Yay! Does anybody want to say anything or have a question? Okay. Revelation of the... Yes. Oh, sorry.
It was related to how can we be proper receivers of transmissions and empty ourselves, be an empty vessel, so we can be an instrument of the Lord's will, and empty ourselves of any agenda or just be that fit recipient to receive.
Yeah, I think that's what this whole book is about. how to be that. But yeah, that's what this whole process of bhakti yoga, the 9 processes of devotion, the 6 limbs of surrender, all of these things that we're hearing about, this is all to make us that recipient, of that type of inner becoming through service, divine service, we're becoming clean. We're cleaning our hearts. And that will be explained more as we read. Revelation of the Infinite. Our Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, once visited a group called the Arya Samaj in West India. A man from the group challenged him. You say that Krishna is infinite, but you also say that you can understand Krishna and you have knowledge of Krishna. You are finite, so how can Krishna be infinite? If the finite can know the infinite, then how can it be infinite? Srila Guru Maharaj quickly responded, you are right, it is not possible for the finite to know the infinite by its own power. But if Krishna cannot make himself known to the finite, then he is not infinite. The infinite must also be able to reveal himself to the finite, otherwise he is not infinite. That man could not argue with this and was very happily defeated by Srila Guru Maharaj. There is no question whether Krishna can reveal himself to us. The Lord is not powerless. He has the capacity to reveal himself, and he is merciful. By his mercy, Krishna descends to this world to fulfill our prayers in so many different forms. Sometimes he himself comes with his full transcendental paraphernalia. Sometimes he sends his avatars. And sometimes he sends divinely empowered souls. In all these forms, he descends to this world to bestow his affection and divine connection upon the fortunate jivas, the fortunate jiva souls. Enlightening power. Atapi te deva parambuja dvaya prasada leshanu grita evahi janati tatvam bhagavan mahimno nachanyaiko pichiram vichinvan. O Lord, one who receives even a trace of the grace of your lotus feet can know your glory. Without your grace, no one can know you, even after searching for a long time. When transcendental knowledge appears in our hearts by the will of Lord Krishna, we will develop the capacity to understand our eternal relationship with him. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, "Seeing a light bulb shining indicates it is connected to a power source. When we will see and understand things clearly in our heart, we will know we are connected with a source of divine power. It is only necessary for us to give that divine light clear entrance and a clean position in our heart. We are not in control of the flow of revelation, but if we are faithful, submissive, and surrendered, then we can attract revelation's flow and feel its presence in our hearts." So Gurudev in this book is giving many very important little hints and tips for how to be receivers, how to serve, how to maintain in our spiritual life. So many really important things are in here for us to try to understand. So he's saying, we're not in control of the flow of revelation, but if we are faithful, submissive, and surrendered, then we can attract revelation's flow and feel its presence in our hearts. And when the descending flow of transcendental knowledge wants to reveal itself in our hearts, it must reveal itself. We will not be able to check it, actually. Still, from our present position, we are not able to understand everything. Nayam atma pravachanena labhyo na medaya na bahuna shutena yam evaisha vinute tena labhyas tashyaisha atma vivrinute tanum tvam. From the Katha Upanishad. Our ordinary mental power, intelligence, and learning do not give us entrance into transcendental reality. Only when the Lord reveals himself in our hearts can we understand him. This means we can come to know him only by surrendering to his enlightening power. And whenever we feel the presence of that type of perfect light connection in our life, we must be happy and think that we are proceeding rightly towards our transcendental destiny. As that happens, we will begin to understand everything. But until that happens, we can't really understand anything. Oh my gosh. As that happens, we will begin to understand everything, but until that happens, we really can't understand anything. So, once we have adjusted ourselves to be faithful receivers of the Lord's revelation, we need to connect with him through the proper channel in which his enlightening power flows. Once we have prepared ourselves, we must try to connect with the Lord and his Amnaya through the proper channel. Then everything will be revealed in our hearts. It is sure that through the proper connection with the proper channel, Amnaya will appear in our hearts. We only need to proceed in our spiritual life with faith, with chastity and sincerity, with love and affection, and try to receive transcendental knowledge through the proper channel. So this is so much encouragement from Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Maharaj, just giving so much encouragement. This book is so encouraging, like, because he knows our difficulties, he knows our, our challenges, he knows our situation, he knows everything that we have to go through, but he keeps giving so much, advices, and he isn't even the proper word, because it's so much more than that. But he's really, he's like our, he's cheering on, he's cheering for us. Like if we're in a road race, if you're in a road race and the people on the side are cheering, oh, you can make it, you can do it, you got this. You've only got 5, giving you water on the running by. Here, drink this, it's only 5 more miles, you can do it. Really, that's what he's doing. He's like, yeah, we know your legs are hurting and you can't breathe and it's hot and you're sweating and, but take this water and, just like, concentrate on the person in front of you, concentrate on the next mile. Don't think about the next 5 miles. Just do this one, think about the next step, It's just like he's like cheering for us and like saying, you got this, you can do it. There's this so much real nourishment by hearing his words, and that potency is there. He's giving us that faith too, because where our faith is very, very small, is very weak. My faith is very small, is very weak, but he's constantly renewing that faith. This is the way to do it, and by doing this, you will get result. It's not, and maybe it's not going to come today or tomorrow, or it takes some perseverance, and it takes work and so many things, but he's giving us the ingredients, and when we apply them, there is a result there, and he's giving us that recipe for our recipe to success. Something?
You use the analogy and metaphor of running a marathon. And there's a saying, life is a marathon, slow burn, and not a fast sprint. So while we're on this enduring path of Bhakti, and the results may not come today, tomorrow, or maybe not even in this lifetime, at some point in a marathon, perhaps there's need for breaks, refreshments, a change of environment. And so similarly, while we're in the intense purification of a temple, an ashram, perhaps at what point can we identify we need a break from the intensity and the purification, and rather than stay in the fire and potentially make offences and get burned, and offences to ourselves and others, and at what point do we know that it's healthy to take a break, a refresher, and just a change of environment, and then come back? So that's the necessity for a break from this intense purification on this path of Bhakti, especially in an ashram temple environment where the anatas are purifying even more, and the practitioners are compared to coals clashing together to create diamonds. So that metaphor is there as well, but it can be quite painful and sometimes offensive, and at what point
we know
realise it's healthy to take a break?
We know that the practice of spiritual life, of devotion, dedication, is not just that it only happens in the temple, people that live outside, most people live outside, so then, that cultivation has to continue. But no doubt, if someone has the opportunity to stay in an ashram, a temple for some time and engage there, then that's a wonderful opportunity. But I think it's a process of self understanding or maturity to be able to recognize, like we don't want to crash and burn and freak out and whatever, so we have to try to find our own necessity of balance. If we can't handle it, if it's too much, then we do something else. But keeping that mood of service, trying to still cultivate as we can the mood of surrender and service, and still, trying to hear and chant and associate with devotees as we can. I guess that example of the marathon, it is a just kind of an example of, but it, maybe it's not the right kind of example, because it kind of indicates that there's a beginning and there's an end, but that's not probably the proper way to think of our spiritual life, because it's kind of ongoing. But it was more the example of him, like, giving encouragement. But I really like reading Revealed Truth, because Gurudev gives a lot of acknowledgement for the fact that, difficulties will come, and sometimes we're gonna kind of maybe go off track a little bit, or have to, this will happen, but then, then we get back on track, and so, it's not like it's always gonna be just like, put the car on cruise control and that's just it for the rest of the trip. It's, you're gonna stop, you gotta get out, you gotta go to the bathroom, you gotta get some snacks, you gotta, get back in the car, you're gonna go up the hill, you're gonna go down the hill, you're gonna go around the curve, There's gonna be all kinds of different experiences according to who we are and our karma and our sincerity and everything. But if we're trying to, hold on to Gurudev's lotus feet and hold on to his instructions and hold on to our connection with him through, the guidance that we're given and the practice and the process of the chanting and the hearing and the associating and the service, then we're going to be okay. Whether we're here or there, that's not the most important thing. Maybe we'll have more opportunity to hear, in this one place, because, there's classes going on, there's chanting going on, there's so many things going on, so we have that more like condensed opportunity. But yeah, we have to, I think in a practical sense, it's good to have the balance that you need, And it's okay also. We're in it for the long haul, like you said, we're in it for the long haul, so. And we're also from this Western, I'm not, I'm just saying from my own heart, I don't, whatever it's right or wrong, I don't know I'm not really the right person to ask these kind of questions to. But, we're in the Western world too, we're raised in the West, so, I have, different kinds of attachments and different type of body, it wasn't raised this way, or wasn't, it's, some things are kind of unnatural or seem unnatural for my personality or my culture, so, we have to also just be a little practical to our characters if we need to, we'll find out what we need to help us, So, I don't know if that helped.
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Thank you.
Please excuse me for saying anything wrong. It's all in here. This is all. But, so maybe we can just chant Hari Raya? Okay.
Braja Mohini Dasi Devi ki jai.
Jai. Ki jai. All the assembled devotees ki jai. Okay. Die. You always have such sophisticated questions. I'm sorry, I'm not very sophisticated answer.
No, it's very real and very experiential.